Then we will keep you up to date with Ding against Burden. The other 6 matches on the outside tables as well, but right now it is Wells breaking off against Trump, and I'm always delighted to say, on my left-hand side in the commentary box here, is the 1986 world champion, Joe Johnson.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Depends where you are. Judd Trump, who recently, I've been told, has had the laser treatment to try and improve his eyesight, no doubt, but he was number 2 in the world. How's it going to affect him?
Well, your information is correct, Joe. He did undergo laser eye treatment shortly before his World Open qualifier in Preston, and shockingly, he was beaten, whitewashed 5-0 by Sam Craigie. So he won't be returning to Yushan in China next month for another world ranking event here. Not only did he lose 5-0, it wasn't as though Craigie knocked everything in, he only made 1/2 century. But Trump amassed a mere 37 points in the contest, highest break 9. And he fouls there.
And West 4.
Yes, played a good safety there as well, but called a foul on himself. And it is again.
So you've had eye treatment, Joe. I suppose after a week or so, he's now getting used to it.
Yeah, well, it can depend what kind of laser treatment he had. There's a treatment called LASIK, and if he had that one, then that needs a little bit of time to recover from while the eyes adjust. Well, I think that's the one he may have had. But he has won a match in this event. Had a comfortable win in the first round against one of the Chinese players.
Yes, he beat Zhu C 5-1, making breaks of 67, 100 and 95, but that was a little over 2 months ago in the qualifier at Preston, so this is his first contest in the tournament proper.
Yes, with his new eyes, although you can forgive him for the first loss because it was only a couple of days, 3 or 4 days after he'd had the treatment. Well, didn't quite catch it thin enough. It was a good safety that he played.
And Daniel Wells should not be underestimated in this all left-handed affair.
Yes, that was a miss, but he was playing it with a lot of right-hand side on the cue ball to avoid the reds. Made the pot harder. Oh, that's a disaster. Catching the other red. He was well out with that shot. That attempted safety.
Well, Joe, it's a really small sample, I know, but 2 safeties caught too thick, a foul shot bridging over the reds. Not good signs.
No, it doesn't do any good for your confidence either, Phil. Gave himself choice of a couple of reds the way he played that shot. One to the corner, one to the middle. He'd like to get the black back on its spot as soon as possible. Yeah, there's a red just in the middle of that cluster that will go. That will get him to the black, or maybe the pink. Could even play for the blue if he hasn't got the correct angle. I always knew he was going to be on the pink. He could have got a more favourable cannon on the black, which should have left him on the black. But I always knew he was going to be on the pink. Now he's just a pink spot not available, so going on to the black spot. And looking at the possibility of a plant there to the left corner. Has made 53 centuries in his career, so good break builder. Turned professional 9 years ago.
25.
Now, has he been fortunate? He didn't really want to go into them. In fact, he may have been playing for the two reds behind the pink. Looks like one is cuttable here, but not easy. Oh, he touched the white. He called a foul on himself.
Anywhere else? 25. Judd Trump 4.
He called a foul on himself, like Judd Trump did.
And that one was less obvious. It must have been a minute feather.
I think we may get a chance to see it.
What?
Well, a little unfortunate not to be on the black or blue. This is a tough one when you're struggling with confidence. But if it does go in, that should boost his confidence. Now, played it very confidently. Now, has he just come too far for this red to the right corner? No, he's okay. Oof. Just not getting a run at the moment, Judd Trump. But at least the balls are going in. And again, good pot on the yellow, but look where the cue ball is. Very unfortunate.
No.
Well, talk about conspiring against him. Everything, possibly, positionally, is going incorrect. Been really, as you say, really unfortunate.
Yeah, a fraction harder he'd have been on the red over this right corner pocket. Fraction slow, he'd have been okay for this red to the baulk corner. Very unfortunate. It was unfortunate the shot before where he caught the middle pocket bump.
That old phrase of the moment doesn't ring true. Fortune favours the brave. He has been brave and he's had no luck at all.
Yep. But you've got to play through that. And I've got a feeling he wants to take this red on with the spider, but it's so dangerous to play. He's going to be leaving the game on if he misses this. And he could try and land up behind the red, which would cover the red down the bottom end of the table. Well, this way, by playing it this way, he may leave the red on, but if he played directly, yep, he's left the red on to the right corner. If it had played it directly to the baulk cushion and landed up behind the red, which was a little bit tougher. But this is no gimme. Tough shot. I think he's got to take it on. He's looking at the safety, but I think he's got to take the red on. Chance to win the frame. Got to be positive against the top players. Yeah, good shot. And that has given him every chance of winning this first frame.
At the end of July, he turned 29, did Daniel Wells. His current world ranking, 62, is the highest he's ever been.
Yeah, I've seen him play a couple of times before, and he's a very steady player and plays the correct shots like he just did a moment ago. Didn't fancy it, but knew he had to take it on.
6.
And I suppose he's had the advantage, Joe, of playing a match here. He did so in the first round yesterday. Beat Ma Chun Mao, a Chinese wildcard, 5-2. No great fireworks there, but at least he's got the cue arm going.
He's had the feel of the table and the surroundings. Makes a lot of difference.
7.
And this time the right side of the blue. Looking good, this. Ideally, if he could play on one of the reds that are closest together by the pink spot. Well, he's come down for the loose one.
12.
The referee, by the way, replacing the blue there. Zhou Yuelong.
Yes, that was the red to play. That's freed everything.
Twenty. One.
Wanted to flick on a little bit more
26.
left-hand side there, but he's okay.
Seven.
So needs another red in the colour after this blue. And that's worked out okay. Slight raise of the hand because he didn't play that. Just this pink needed then. And he's took these well. That opening red over the right corner, which he was going to refuse.
39.
There's one in the frame.
And I think it's a fair summation of the frame to say that Trump, when he was
46.
in, wasn't smiled upon kindly by the snooker gods, but nevertheless,
Then you ask 46.
with that
In the frame.
46 break, Wells has made a tidy start. Trump 1-0 down already. Is he going to be the story unfolds after the break? Zhou, Judd Trump has just broken off, trailing Daniel Wells 1-0.
Yes, and Daniel catching that red much too thick, but hasn't left anything on. And this time it's Trump that caught the reds thick.
While he's contemplating this shot, let me tell you that Alfie Burton has made a phenomenal start against Ding over on the other table. 1-0 ahead, thanks to a century break, exactly 100.
Now, how's your luck? Yes, that little rub has saved him, and things still not going right for Judd Trump. Couldn't be tempted by that red next to the blue, but another safety shot. He's caught thick.
Two other early scores to tell you about. Tom Ford has taken a 1-0 lead over Matt Selt, and John Higgins, he was 61-0 down in the first frame against Chris Wakelin, cleared up with 70 to win it on the black. So Higgins continuing the excellent form he displayed yesterday.
Just like Higgins, isn't it? He's made some great clearances in his career. Well judged.
He seems very focused to me. I think this is quite an important match for him, especially in light of what happened last week.
Yeah, I agree. At the moment, though, he's catching everything a little thick or thin. The good thing is that when he did get in, he didn't miss a pot. Potted some good pressure balls. So that should be a little reassuring to him. Good attempt to get in behind the brown. Let's see if he catches this one a little thick. Well, he didn't play that, and he did catch it thick, which meant the cue ball didn't get to the baulk cushion where he played it, so he's on the brown. A stroke of luck there, because he had left a red on.
People have said to me, there's no such thing as luck. Evens out, even if it does exist. That's just total bunkum, really. It makes such a massive difference. It was really influential in the first frame, and it could be equally so here.
Yeah, you could call it a different name, I suppose. The run of the ball. Luck. But I kind of agree with that sentiment that you made, that it does even itself out. You've just got to stay focused and hope it does, and you're prepared for that change of luck. If you focus on things that are going wrong, you can be in the wrong frame of mind when the opportunity does arise. Game snooker. They can all play.
Yes, and of course luck's all about timing as well. If you fluke the final black to win the first frame of a best of 17, it's not as important as if you fluke the black to win the World Championship.
21.
Not trying to tell me something there, are you?
There were no flukes in 86.
Well, he could have took the red to the left corner, which would have left him on the black, but decided to play for the pink, and he's got to be a little bit more accurate with this positional play now. That's the only red he could play for. Now, has he come too far? Or can he see this red? It's tight.
28.
And that's why he couldn't play ideal position on the black.
Certified. $36.
Well, at the moment, don't see anything wrong with his potting.
43.
Potted some good pressure balls in the last frame.
44.
And so far in this frame, he's looking good. He's under hit that one though, and that's end of break.
51.
Well, does the red go to the middle pocket? If it does, half a chance of keeping the break going. What a great recovery shot. And now he could possibly play the cannon to those two reds to the left of the pink. Just looking at the shot now, which may leave him on a red to the right corner.
He's great to watch, there's no doubt about that. A real world-class entertainer.
Well, again, he's misjudged the speed of the table.
67.
And again, he's left himself in a little bit of trouble. Just needed another red and a colour. And he could have played for any of the reds out in the open. Chose to play for the one on the cushion. can't agree with that choice of shot. So just the red needed.
Just draw 67.
Just trying to concentrate on potting that red.
So then, 6 reds left. That means 75 on the table. Enough for Wells to salvage the frame. And it's not the most untidy table you've ever seen. Okay, a few balls aren't exactly ideal, but he's not out of this just yet.
What about that? What about that for a winning shot? Great pot. Felt he was pushed into it, forced into taking it on. Didn't leave anything had he missed it, except the red he was playing on.
Dare I say, the opening red, laser-like.
Very difficult shots, those,
Time.
when it was more or less straight from the baulk cushion. But it sealed the second frame for Trump. And he's looking good.
$17. $24. 25. $32.
And again he misses it. Tried to bring the red into play. Just playing a few exhibition shots now that the frame's won. And why not? That's why people love to watch him play.
36.
And the crowd absolutely love it. And so do we. Played to miss the black. Now, pot one from there. He's snookered. He's given it every chance.
Well, after the start he made, that was the perfect response. Wells not bothering the scorers in the second frame. Trump and Wells on level terms. So can Wells stem the Trump tide? The last thing you want to do, Joe, is allow Trump to build any head of steam.
Yeah, once he gets his confidence, we know how good he is. So Wells has got to take his chances, be positive like he was in the first frame. Well, hasn't quite got away with it. There is a red to the middle, I think.
They've only met on one previous occasion. 2015 Paul Hunter Classic. Trump won 4-1. Held by breaks of 106 and 62.
So close. Very difficult, those shots. Hardly any angle for the ball to go into. But it was a chance. Nope. And that's a let-off. Yes, with those reds in the balk area, the safety play's got to be down this end of the table now.
The 2006 World Champion Graham Dott.
Well, it's going nowhere at the moment, this frame. If it had been one of the players that have been asking for a re-rack. Nobody likes to play this type of game. Well, he's left a little tempter, but it's awkward queuing. And he's done that on purpose, trying to tempt Daniel Wells into taking that long red on. Didn't fall for the plan. Yep, they've suggested a re-rack, and I believe we'll start again.
Yeah, mutual agreement. I think that's entirely correct. I think sometimes inexperienced referees, such as the gentleman we have in charge today, a little bit loath to maybe suggest to the players that they should have a re-rack. But the two guys got their heads together there and said, look, you know, we're going nowhere. As you said, Joe, let's start all over again. No one had any particular advantage, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody likes to see free-flowing snooker, even if it's good safety.
After a re-rack, the same player gets to break off, and so Daniel Wells here in the third frame, breaking off for the third time in the match. Now there's a little anomaly.
Yes, do you know the record of re-racks?
I don't. I can tell you this. Somewhere in the back of my mind, in a qualifier, I think it's Stoke, there was a frame where it was re-racked 3 times.
I can remember 2, but not 3.
Or at least it was the third take, you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely, in the same frame. Caught it much too thick. Has left a red on. And that's worked out very nicely, developing the pink and the black.
Before he gets into full flow, one re-rack. Little bit of information. I think the record for the lengthiest frame before a re-rack was 56 minutes.
Let me have a guess. Was it Doug Mountjoy?
No. It was at the Welsh Open many years ago. Gary Wilkinson and Dennis Taylor played for 56 minutes and then it started all over again.
I remember Doug Mountjoy, I think it was Cliff Thorburn,
7.
who got down to the blue, pink and black, and they started a re-rack from there.
8.
Now, ain't going to be no re-rack this match in this frame. I wanted to be straight on this red so he could pot the red, finish on the black. He may have to play up for the blue. And just the right amount of side to finish absolutely perfect.
He's got so many attributes, Joe. I think one of them is that easy cue power.
Yeah. He's got terrific cue power. And doesn't panic. That's the thing. Didn't get correct position on the red to play for the black. So just switched to playing for the blue and played it perfectly.
But the other thing with Trump that people sometimes don't appreciate is that he's not one-dimensional. When he wants to, when he needs to, he's got a really good safety brain. And in terms of laying and getting out of snookers, I think he's one of the best.
Yep, great safety player. And another attribute he's got, which he has learned in recent years, he's got a lot of patience. He can wait. And a lot of attacking players, that's one thing that they struggle with. Being patient, waiting for the right chance. Well, that looks pretty tight, and the black not available, so up for the blue again.
32.
Well, I thought he was going to be a little short there, but he's again finished up perfectly on the blue.
$37. 38. 43. 44.
And this time deliberately left himself short on the blue, so he has a nice angle to come in and out of balk.
Yes, and the rogue position of the brown there made that shot a little more complex than normal, and he's done pretty well. Mind you, not out of the woods yet. Well, I think the worries about the eyes we had, Joe, before the match have been dispelled.
Absolutely, he looks to be playing brilliant snooker. Made a 67 in the last frame. Didn't miss a pot in the first frame, although he lost it. And he seems to be growing in confidence, if that's at all possible.
55.
There's
56.
that reverse side on the cue ball again to give him a shot on the blue. Just needs one more red to make sure.
$61.
And that was frame ball. And
62.
again, inch perfect with this position.
It's a good atmosphere in here tonight, with Trump and Ding
67.
on the adjoining table in action. When you think about it, Joe, you have to say those
68.
two, the best yet to win the world title. Trump and Ding.
I would say so.
No one's guaranteed to win it. Look at Jimmy White. You would have thought he was a certainty. Never got it done.
73.
So you can't say that Trump and Ding will eventually do it, but they've got all of the necessary ammunition.
74.
Yep, I for one would be pleased if either one of them win it.
79.
Now, leave an angle on the blue, which he has done, to try and play the cannon to the black and red. And that's worked out very nicely.
85.
Crowd really liked that one.
$86. Touch on 86 in the front.
That really is a pity. We thought we were going to see a century. That was denied us by the missed blue. Nevertheless, Trump, after losing the first frame, now leads 2-1. Judd Trump breaks off in the fourth frame against Daniel Wells, feeling pretty good, or at least he should be feeling good. He's dominated the previous two frames, breaks of 67, 43 and 86, making up for a slow start to lead 2-1. Ding's 2-1 up on Alfie Burden on table 1. Ding also 1-0 down. Michael White and Zhou Yuelong on level terms at 1-1. Tepchire Nu 2-0 up on Michael Holt. Ryan Day 2-0 up on Cao Yupeng. Mark Williams and Tianpeng Fei now 1 each. Williams winning frame 2 with a sizable break. Already at their interval, remarkably, Tom Ford leads Matt Selt 3-1. And John Higgins, after that 70 clearance to pinch the first frame against Chris Wakelin, he's in command of the second frame as well. Wakelin needs a snooker with 3 reds left.
Well, he needed a good kiss there and it didn't happen. Left an easy starter for Judd Trump. Just looking to see if the black will pass the red into the left corner. And if it doesn't, shouldn't be any problem playing up for the blue with a touch aside.
1.
And this red to the left corner or the middle will lead him to the black.
Seven. 40. 50. 22. 23. 30. 31.
Well, I don't know about whether he's any relation to Donald, but this trump is making Judd great again.
38. 39.
A little high.
39.
And that was the shot previously where he left the cue ball close to the cushion. So let off Daniel Wells. This time a good safety. Good pace on the cue ball.
Knows the importance of keeping Wells cold. The Welshman hasn't potted a ball since the opening frame. Trump's currently on a run of 235 points without reply.
And once again he pushes the red over that left side of the table, but he's got a good cue ball and the red has finished a little close to the cushion. He may have to take this red on slowly. Well, he took it on at pace, and he's left a good chance here for the snooker behind the yellow. Daniel Wells. Just leave the cue ball where the red is, and as long as he doesn't get the cannon onto the green or brown. Don't think there's room past the black. But doesn't want to push this red over the left corner. That's what he's faced with. Played it with a lot of left-hand side on the cue ball.
In the previous frame, we were talking about re-racks for a short time, and goes over one of the top pockets, and sometimes with a series of safety shots, the reds tend to congregate around it, and that's when you can see a stalemate. We're miles from that yet, and of course with Trump being so well in front, he's got no incentive whatsoever to want a re-rack. But it's just a possibility.
Yeah, but again, didn't play a good safety and could so easily have left an easy red on. He has left a red. It's a tough one. The black sat there over the pocket so he could play the cue ball to the port cushion just in case he misses it. Oh, he's been fortunate there. That could have been end of frame. I think he's still got to play this red that's closest to the pocket, but maybe play it full ball, leave the cue ball on the cushion.
Let's not forget it was a self-imposed Chinese snooker that indirectly cost Trump the opening frame. Had to play what was rather an ineffective safety, and from a lengthy red, Wells made 46.
Well, he's left a little tempter here for Judd Trump, and he's got no option but to play it. Can't see the other reds. If he leaves the cue ball on the black cushion, he'd be on the red and on the black, and shouldn't leave the red on. Looks like a free go to me, this. Had it gone in, every chance of winning the frame. Right, looks like this red will go. Yeah, good shot. No, great chance to get back in this game.
Yes, the ball's ideal.
Yeah, I think the black might just tie one or two of them up. Black out of the equation now for the moment.
8.
Well, it was worthwhile taking on that red, but he should have had a look to see if one of the reds did go in the middle. And that opens the black up. Being able to see that red. What a great chance this is now for Daniel Wells. Got to keep himself calm and collected. Easier to say that than do it.
It is, but against any fellow pro,
60.
but particularly against one of the upper echelon of the game, these are the kind of opportunities you have to exploit.
17.
He's had a mixed bag so far this season, Wells. It started off on the worst possible footing. Beaten in the first round of the Riga Masters 4-0 by 2002 world champion Peter Ebden. But he qualified for the Indian Open in fine style, beating Billy Joe Castle, a rookie, 4-1, making breaks of 108, 72, 63 and 56.
25.
There was another setback in the European Masters qualifiers. He won't be in Belgium because he lost to Mark Allen 4-2. But he has qualified for the World Open next month. Came back from 3-2 down to beat Gerard Green 5-3. So several sources of encouragement there, Joe.
Yeah, make no mistake, he's a good player, this young man. Anxious looks there from Judd Trump because he knows that this frame is in Daniel Wells' hand.
33.
And we know he's prone to an upset, Trump. You and I, Joe, were commentating when he was beaten by Rory McLeod in the first round of the World Championship, which for me,
41.
and it's all subjective of course, but for me was the biggest upset of last season.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, because I think he was well in front in that match. Was he 4-0 up?
4-0, yeah.
And then, as Trump tends to do, he tends to just try and let his arm go too loose. And all of a sudden, you're in a match.
48.
Okay, he's taking these very well. Left a nice angle on the black, just to drop in behind the two reds. Under hit it slightly, but it shouldn't be a problem. 17
56.
points the lead.
$57.
So another red and a colour. Should leave him safe. Take us to the interval at 2 each.
Yes, and after the mini onslaught
63.
from Trump in frames 2 and 3, this is a really good response by Wells.
64.
Had that long red gone in, the one that Trump took, it would have been all over in Trump's favour. Missed it, left a red to the middle. And that pink leaves Trump needing snookers.
70. $72.
The host broadcasters don't seem to put up the pot success rate as a graphic. We haven't seen that yet.
75.
But I'll tell you what, for both players going to the interval, it's a very high percentage.
I would say so. It just didn't get any chance at all in the last two frames. Daniel Wells.
79. $84. 57.
From a really good red to middle, Wells made the most of what was
8.55.
a golden chance, a 97 clearance. And look at this. We've arrived at the interval. It's a very keenly contested affair. Daniel Wells, the world number 62, is giving as good as he's getting. And he finds himself all square with Judd Trump at 2-2. Everything to play for in the second half. So I think, Joe, the sentiment as we start the second half of this match is pretty much the same as it was at the beginning. I think it would be entirely foolish to write off Wells, but you still would make Trump, considering the way he's played, you'd still make him favourite.
Yes, you would. But full marks to Daniel Wells for sticking to his cause. As you say, he was well under the cosh with the way that Trump was playing. So full marks for coming back a fraction harder.
He's a great crowd pleaser, Trump, and from a different era. Another crowd pleaser celebrates his birthday today. Kirk Stevens, the man in the white suit. 59 he is.
Yeah, what a great player he was. I think he got to 2 world semi-finals. And well, there's confirmation. He's snookered. Yeah, great player. Made the first maximum at Wembley Conference Centre when it was the Masters. Well, he's left a red to the left middle. Didn't quite hit that cue ball hard enough. Trying to leave the cue ball on the cushion, the black cushion. So an early chance for Judd Trump. I'm not sure if the black goes. This just come round to have a look, or even the red next to the black. Yeah, just going back to the Kirk Stevens match in the Masters. I don't know what year it was now. What year was it?
84.
84. See, you can always rely on Phil. What a fantastic match that was. Even though he made that maximum, Kirk Stevens is still lost to Jimmy White, who made a couple of centuries of his own. One of the best matches I've ever seen. Well, if he's on the red next to the black, that was a fantastic shot. Maybe a little fortunate with the kiss, but I think that's the red he played for. Now, can he get it and stay on the black? Easy enough to go back up for the blue from one of the other reds. Looks like he can pot it, but it's whether he can leave himself on the black or not.
Of good break building, never take a risk unless you have to. Position on the blue was, for someone of his standard, pretty much guaranteed, so why not go up there and not rock the boat?
Yeah, try and leave himself a little bit better angle on the red to stay on the black. He could play the similar type of shot, try and play for that red, but if he's not on it, he's on the other one. Decided against it though.
9.
And I like the way he plays that shot round the 2 angles with the right hand side on the cue ball. Finished perfectly on the blue again. Coming down for that red next to the black. And without the kiss,
15.
he'd have been fairly straight on that red to stay on the black. So it looks like back up for the blue again. That red doesn't go.
16.
Not ideal on the blue to play for the red next to the black, but easy enough to play for that red to the right of the pink. Well, I can't agree with that shot. Don't know what he played. There was a number of reds he could have played for. But he's okay, he's on this red and may be able to play for the pink to the middle if it goes. Well, looking at the way he's played that shot, the black must go. Played that one well. Anxious looks.
29.
Now, was that relief?
Agitation, I think. Would love to try and squeeze the cue ball past the black to pop the red, but he's not quite sure.
No, he's having to play it with a touch of swerve. Cliff Wilson was a great player at making shots like that happen. Seemed to bend the cue ball perfectly around the object ball to pot it.
Yes, I really miss old Cliff. He was great fun on the snooker circuit, wasn't he?
Great player as well.
We were just talking about the Masters and what a great atmosphere when Stevens and White had that classic semi-final there. One of my great memories of the Masters was one match involving Cliff Wilson. I don't know what the score was, who he was playing, can't recall. But what I do remember was during the mid-session interval, rather than go backstage, he just went into the crowd and sat with 4 or 5 Chelsea pensioners. Fantastic gesture.
Yeah, that's what it was like. Great comedian. Great people's player. Everybody loved to watch him.
Yes, knowing Cliff, he would have really enjoyed watching Trump play, because Trump's his kind of player.
Yeah, certainly would.
$44. $45.
Now, if you can play a little gentle cannon to the red above and to the right of the black, something like that, that's really developed things.
52. $53.
Another red and a black would be enough.
$60. 61.
Well, he played a good safety. Got the snooker on Daniel Wells. Daniel escaped from the snooker but left a red onto the middle. This is the result.
68.
He was in trouble.
Nine.
All that talk of birthdays, Joe.
73.
On Sunday, Trump will be 28 years of age. Chasing here
74.
what would be his 464th century break in professional competition at the age of 28.
I know, it's incredible.
81.
What a talent. And this has been so well controlled, this break. There's even potted balls that it wasn't on.
89.
Bending the cue ball round the black to pot a red. But he hoped it hit that one. Well, he's on the black to the middle. Yeah, well played. Come on now,
97.
let's see your first century of this event.
Possible 130 total clearance there, so not enough for the high break, which, by the way, isn't held by Mark Joyce anymore. Just a few moments ago, I can tell you, Ryan Day, in taking a 4-0 lead over Zhou Yuelong, had a run of 137. This break finishes on 105. Trump is back in front. He led 2-1. Now it's 3-2. Well, we have the first result of the session. Tom Ford swiftly has beaten Matthew Selt 5-1 on his birthday. Maybe he had plans. Maybe there's a party somewhere. He certainly rushed to it, blowing out the candles as we speak.
Well, it was risky. And again, he leaves the red on to the middle, which cost him dearly in the last frame. Had to take it on though, that red. You can't just sit back and hope your opponent misses, or you've got to take those difficult balls on and get them.
Nine.
He has made 3 maximums in tournament play.
60.
Ooh, Joe Johnson getting in with the early call there, eh? 2 reds, 2 blacks.
It's the spread of the reds. The spread of the reds look really nice.
17. 24. 25.
Easy enough to play for the next red, but to play for the next red and get back to the black, a little bit more difficult. But that looks okay.
32.
The middle of those three reds, I think, will go.
33.
Well, he could play into them or play for the red near the pink spot. Decided to play down the table for this red. Now, has he got the angle to get back to the black? And we'll soon know what he's thinking here, because normally you would play for the blue. Now that tells you what he's thinking.
41.
Well, the prize for a maximum here, the maximum break rolling bonus, is £15,000.
Now, how's your luck? Is he on the red? That gets him back to the black. It doesn't look like it. Does this red go? It doesn't look like it from there. But it does.
49.
And look at the reds now.
$56. 57.
131 maximums now made in professional competition. The last
64.
most recent, Gary Wilson, that was in the qualifiers for the World Championship in a tournament proper. Hence the rollover being so high, 15,000. The most recent 147 was compiled by a certain Judd
65.
here in China against Tianpeng Fei in the China Open.
Nicely played. Little cannon to the two reds. Leaving him
72.
straight on this red to the left corner. Favours a right-handed player more than the left, but
73. 18.
oh, just a little too hard for this red and not hard enough for the other one.
81.
Oh, he didn't want the kiss. He's okay, but he wanted to come past the red.
88.
Could so easily have pushed that red onto the pink.
89.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But he played round for the red
96.
by the middle pocket. And I thought he could have played for these two reds into this right corner with a larger element of mistake. Needs a good recovery. Get in there. Nicely done. Crowd like that one.
So the black, the 13th black for back-to-back tons.
Now, what a shame. How is it?
Shot 97. On the frame.
13. Unlucky for everyone here in Guangzhou. We were all getting excited about the possibility of a 147, but it's 4-2. Guangzhou Sports Institute, where Daniel Wells finds himself one frame from defeat. Judd Trump, since the interval, has been superb. Breaks of 105 and 97, chasing a 147 in the previous frame if you're just joining us, but with the cue ball just a little too close to the side cushion for comfort and forced the black. He jawed it in a top pocket. Tell you what's interesting though, Joe. Wells, all 4 frames he's lost, he hasn't scored a single point in any of them.
No, which tells you that if he does get a chance, he wins. Is he going to get one here? It looks like he's had a bit of luck there, Trump. He may have a difficult pot on, clip to the right corner. It could so easily have been easier than this. Leave the cue. Well, don't think he's taking it on. May not have been able to see it. Good safety.
The snooker's been so fast and furious, it's been hard to keep you updated with the outside tables. I'll attempt to do that now. Michael White and Zhou Yuelong 2-2. Tipchara Nu 4-1 on Michael Holt's Trump pots a belter. Ryan Day 4-0 up on Cao Yupeng. Mark Williams and Tianpeng Fei locked together at 2-2. And John Higgins leads Chris Wakelin 3-0. Of course, Tom Ford already Omen hosed, beating Matt Selt 5-1.
Shot 1.
Well, it wasn't far away. And doesn't look like he's left anything.
currently world number 3, Judd Trump. When you're that high in the rankings, you need to get a large bank of points together to stay where you are at the very least. And having not qualified for the World Open, I think he's fully cognizant of the fact he needs a good deep run here. Mind you, even as world number 3, it would take a superhuman effort for Trump to overhaul Mark Selby at the top of the rankings. Selby's lead is simply extraordinary.
Yeah, I think he could play all season, not win anything, or even take a season off and still be number 1. That's how far he's in front.
Well, just to give you an indication of Selby's dominance, he's got more than double the points of his closest pursuer.
Wow. That will do very nicely. Didn't play the cue ball in behind the yellow. And he'll take it.
Foul, the miss. Daniel Wells, 5.
He was playing to hit the red nearest that right corner pocket. But this is a tough table for Daniel Wells. Black, pink and blue tied up. Needs to slow down.
Wow.
Oh, it's just a snooker again. Could have sprung off the black cushion there.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Joe, because I thought he did.
Daniel Wells, 1.
I think generally playing conditions have been very good. It's very humid here. Temperatures in the 90s. If there has been a problem, it's been variable bounce, particularly off the ball cushions we noticed yesterday. But the actual surface is responsive and playing nicely.
Yeah, and I haven't seen many kicks as well. I'm sure there's been a few, but...
No, you're right, they're in really short supply, and let's hope that continues.
What about this for an escape?
Foul,
Well,
miss.
wow, how
No
close was that?
No touch, I see.
I did touch.
Yes.
It
No.
touched.
No touch, I see.
If you said it touched. Yeah, no, it touched. Yeah.
Now this is interesting. Daniel Wells, if you didn't hear it, just said if you said it touched, which Trump said it did, it touched, and so therefore Wells is quite prepared to continue on without a foul being called. But that's overriding the authority of the referee. I personally believe Trump believes that touched, and his integrity is beyond doubt. So I think in terms of the correct way to approach this, yes, I think justice has been served here, because he would know. Having said that, obviously the referee should have some kind of authority. It's
Yeah,
a
well,
dilemma.
he was stood right over the red, wasn't he? So he said he didn't think it touched. Like to see it again.
He's not unprepared to speak his mind, Trump. I remember one of the European Tour events some years back. The referee mistakenly thought he'd sworn at the table, and that wasn't the case at all. Trump very forcefully made his point that he hadn't. Our referee in this one, as I said before, Zhou Yuelong.
Well, that could be a disaster.
Just 4.
Well, the red's gone close to the cushion, which makes it a little bit more difficult.
Well, at least the referee's call here was indisputable. And in off. We know that. Everyone in the world knows it.
Well, that was a brave shot to take on, but when you're leading 4-2, I suppose you can afford the risk. But he played it very nicely, leaving himself on the green. And now, a great chance. The black's available, and when it goes back onto its spot, it's available.
5.
Well, he's left himself slightly hampered. Which was a poor shot from such an easy red to the middle. When he's been in amongst the balls, Judd Trump, he's made some very good breaks. 67, 86, 105, and nearly a maximum in the last frame, which ended at 97. But full marks to his opponent when he's got the chance. He's overcut it. So a chance for Daniel Wells. I was about to say, when Daniel's had his chance, he's took them.
You're right, he's acquitted himself pretty well, Wells, and this isn't over yet.
One.
Might take the risk here, playing the cannon into those 4 reds. Well, decided to play up for the red by the middle.
8.
Doesn't need to play the cannon to the reds, he can just stun past them. They all go, taken in sequence.
16.
And he's no stranger to performing nicely here in China. His two best ranking runs have both been achieved in this country. Both last season, actually, as he plays that one a little short. Reached the last 16 of the World Open and also
24.
the China Open.
Yeah, that was a poor shot, that, from Daniel. Wanted to be top side of this red to be able to get back to the black again. And it cost him.
Then we're 24.
Well, that was unfortunate, and if Judd can get through the gap, the red nearest to the pocket will go.
One.
Oh, what a kiss. It's left him ideal on brown or green.
And just taking the opportunity there to develop another semi-awkward red. Just 12 the deficit.
Well, he's covered the black, but the pink is available.
Being left-handed though, a little hampered with the red close to the pocket. And the knock-on effect was that.
Well, he might be able to just dribble this red into the middle, but it's very risky.
The middle pockets on these match tables are cut so brutally that he's got hardly anything to aim for if he plays that dribble. I don't think there's any value in that whatsoever.
Well, maybe he can squeeze this red into the pocket. Yep.
12.
Now, does he have the angle on the brown? Play for a red. That takes him one in front. But still two awkward reds.
23.
Just got to sit and wait, prepare himself in case he gets a chance.
24.
And not ideal on the black. Well, he did so well to create that angle there, and it could have landed a little kinder.
This has been a fantastic break for pure potting, but rather like that little mini break in the first frame. He knocks the bin and the balls just won't run kindly for him.
Judd 31.
Well, Trump could have done with leaving that blue on that side cushion when he's brought it into play. He's really opened the game up. Daniel Wells could possibly have needed that blue to win the frame. That's not the best safety shot he's ever played, caught it too thick. So great chance this. A really good chance to pull a frame back.
Yes, and as you say, Joe, not an awkward ball on the table.
There's confirmation of that result. Topsport anew beating Michael Holt. Not the best positional shot he's ever played.
6.
He's played two careless positional shots in this frame, and it could cost him the match.
US 6.
I think that's a reasonably acceptable outcome from Trump's perspective. Yep, by the way, Topsport knew that 5-2 win over Michael Holt. With that, he earns a last 32 meeting with former UK and Masters champion Matthew Stevens, one of Wells's fellow countrymen. Now I'm jumping the gun here because even after this match there's another one to be won, but it's a possibility, Joe, that Trump and O'Sullivan could be colliding in the last 16.
We relish the thought.
They play often, but very rarely that early in a tournament.
Well, that was a much better hit, unless the cue ball goes in. Unless the cue ball goes in. Yeah, that's an excellent safety.
Father miss. Judd 4.
Well, again, he's got to be careful here. Can't see the red direct, so coming off the cushion, but in doing so, he would have been pushing that red towards the left corner. And he can't afford to take that risk just in case the worst happened and sent it towards the corner. The only problem with this shot is that it's such an easy safety shot for Judd Trump to play next shot. Behind the yellow would be nice. Oh, had it not kissed the brown, it would have been guaranteed a snooker. Well, better to miss the ball than catch it too thick. Leave